Hi, I'm Loknath. I'm going to present the paper Revisiting DSS Implementation Research, a meta-analysis of literature and suggestions for researchers. The research problem is occurring due to two reasons. One is the investments in corporate world and the reliance on information systems has been increasing due to its usage in firms for competitive advantage, which makes it necessary that the IS implementation in firms be effective and successful. The second one is the reviews on IS implementation studies have revealed that they provide results which are confusing and conflicting. So given the context, the extent to which the IS research body that is existing implies significant and effective cumulative development in this area is not very clear. Therefore, this study aims to provide guidelines for implementation management and conduct of future information systems research. The research objectives for this research are implemented in three different layers. The first one is to provide guidelines for implementation, management, and conduct of future information systems research on the high level. And if you go a little deep into that, they divided it into two, which is to indicate what knowledge has been accumulated on factors thought to influence DSS implementation success, and to investigate the potential impact of the methodological characteristics of the studies on the findings. And the third layer, at the ground level, it has been divided into three objectives, which is to provide a more accurate picture of the relationship among variables of interest, and to provide insights into methodological issues that are useful in developing guidelines for directing future inquiry in the field in terms of the choice of subjects, measurements, approaches, research settings, etc. And to establish the relative importance of different factors to DSS implementation success, and identifying the domains that can benefit from additional research studies. For the methodology, a rigorous quantitative meta-analysis has been performed, of which 33 studies which are performed between 1975 and 1988 are considered for this meta-analysis, which are obtained from different bibliographies and databases like ArcMIS, NTIS, and Social Sci Research, and other bibliographies that are not information system disciplines. And these are coded by three researchers based on variable types, which are user factors, DSS implementation success variables, and study characteristics. So the disagreements among the three researchers are resolved through discussion, and these three researchers have quoted a total of 144 findings from these 33 studies, and there's an agreement of 87.6% of the papers as unanimous, which is a very good number. And in the meta-analysis, the findings of studies are treated as the unit of analysis because the findings across the studies were based on different statistical tests such as F-test or T-test. So they were converted to a common metric, specifically the effect size index D, which represents the effect of an independent variable on the dependent variable. From the obtained results, the user factors do impact the DSS implementation success. This table summarizes the observed average effect sizes, the magnitudes of which clearly show the impact of user factors on DSS implementation success. So these statistical results, however, show that the impact of user factors on DSS implementation success varies greatly, and that a large variation exists that remains unexplained. And some user factors do appear more important than others. The relative magnitudes of the effect sizes in this table show that larger effect sizes are associated with user situational variables and smaller effect sizes with cognitive style and personality. The DSS implementation success rate can be improved by as much as 30%, which makes it interesting to ask what impact does explicit consideration of the user factors have on the DSS implementation success? So, to answer this, as indicated by the binomial effect size display estimates in this table, the implementation success rate can be increased by 20 to 30% through manipulation of user situational variables and by 10 to 15% through consideration of psychological factors. Uh, these estimated magnitudes of effects that can be expected in research in this area, which may serve in turn as benchmarks for future studies, and the interaction effects among the key factors, which are the involvement, training, decision styles, and DSS implementation success, and other variables that seem to moderate their impact on the DSS implementation. This research allows the researchers to put into perspective the incremental contribution of additional substantive and empirical studies in this area. And this work suggests the domains such as construct validation or user involvement that might profit most from the additional research. And these findings impacts of methodological characteristics will help for the design of future research studies of implementation. Um, Most of the previous studies examine the direct relationship between each of the user factors, whereas this study suggests the interaction effects among these key factors and other variables that seem to moderate their impact on DSS implementation, which in turn implies that the future research efforts should be directed towards developing something like a causal model for DSS implementation, because it helps the user factors together in a form that makes their interrelationships explicit.